Basic appraisal procedures, page 274. Presently for sale or did not sell in a given area. Competitive supply. Available properties that a buyer would accept as ready substitutes because they share the same features and utility as the subject. Compound interest. Interest earned / charged on the principal amount, as well as interest on any previously earned / charged interest that has been added to the principal. Concrete footers. Base that a foundation sits on must be poured on solid ground below frost depth and wider at the bottom than the structure to be supported. Condemnation. 1. Taking private property for public use through the government's power of eminent domain, also called appropriation. 2. A declaration that a structure is unfit for occupancy and must be closed or demolished. Condition. 1. Provisions in a deed or other document that makes the parties' rights and obligations depend on the occurrence or non-occurrence of some event. 2. The state of repair or disrepair of an item, structure, etc. Conditional use. A land use that does not comply with the general zoning rules for the zone in which it is located, but is permitted because it benefits the public. For instance, a hospital in a residential neighborhood, also called special exemption. Condominium. A property developed for co-ownership, with each co-owner having a separate interest in an individual unit and an undivided interest in the common areas of the property. Compare cooperative. Confidential information. Information that is either identified by the client as confidential when providing it to an appraiser and that is not available from any other source, or classified as confidential or private by applicable law or regulation. Conforming loans. Loans that meet Fannie Mae / Freddie Mac standards and thus can be sold on the secondary market. Conformity. The theory that says a particular property achieves its maximum value when it is surrounded by properties that are similar in style, function, and utility, also called homogeneity. Consideration. Anything of value such as money, goods, services, or promises given in exchange for something from another party. Construction cost. The dollar amount of material, labor, etc. required to build a structure. Consumer Price Index, CPI, a measure of the fixed cost of goods and services used as an inflation indicator. Contract, an agreement between two or more parties to do or not do a certain thing. The requirements for an enforceable contract are capacity, mutual consent, lawful object, and consideration. In addition, certain contracts must be in writing to be enforceable. Contract, land, a real estate installment agreement for which the buyer makes payments to the seller in exchange for the right to occupy and use property. No deed or title is transferred until all or a specified portion of the payments have been made, also called an installment land contract, installment sales contract, land sales contract, real estate contract. Contract rent, what tenants are actually paying in rent as stated in the terms of the lease. Compare market rent. Contractor's profit, Extra money above costs earned by the manager of a construction project. Contributory value. The theory that a particular item or feature of a property is only worth what it actually contributes in value to that parcel of real estate. Conventional loan. A loan that is not insured or guaranteed by a government entity. Cooperative. A building owned by a corporation with the residents as shareholders in the corporation. Each shareholder receives a proprietary lease on an individual unit and the right to use the common areas. Compare condominium. Co-ownership. Any form of ownership with two or more people sharing title to real property. Corner influence. Value change in a property because it sits on a corner lot. Cost. The dollars needed to develop, produce, or build something. Cost approach. An appraisal method that estimates the value of real estate by figuring the cost of building the house or other improvements on land minus